the crooked straight and rough places play.
Music is universal to all known cultures. For most psychological phenomena that are universal across all cultures, there was a biological advantage that it gave us. For music, it doesn't feed us, it doesn't sustain us, and it doesn't protect us. The reasons for music are much less well understood, but because of that, so much more interesting.
And the rough places play.
Edouard believes singing was the soul's way of speaking. That's why, from pauper to statesman, everyone is drawn to music.
And I think that that is a very succinct way to talk about music. Music is something that can touch everyone. Culturally, we react very similarly to types of songs and music. Certain types of beats create the feelings of fear or uneasy or peace or happiness. And so it's in a lot of ways a universal language.
He'd say that when he was on stage looking out to the audience, he could see the colors of everyone's soul.
I think is a really important part to Edouard's psychology. And I think that that's going to come into play later when he's in his demon form, that he is able to look out at all of these demons and be able to see what is inside of them.
Mine was pink. He was wrong though. Green is my favorite color.
So it's funny because I don't even know where they put that in, because he says mine was pink. But he was wrong, though. My favorite color is green. Like, she didn't understand, or the person that was writing it didn't understand that he wasn't seeing your favorite color. He was seeing your soul. He was seeing what you brought out into the world, what you were able to give it. I don't really understand why they placed her misunderstanding of what his gift really was. It isn't about knowing what someone's favorite color is. It's about being able to see beyond who someone actually was.
Stop! Stop! Who the hell are you, and what do you think you're doing?
My slave came through here.
It takes a lot of inner fortitude to be able to make a stand, especially against people that are in power. Now, Edouard also understands, though, that everyone is there to see him. He is the one that in this situation holds all of the cards. And I love that he has that in his character trait, that even if he may be admonished or may pay a price for it after, he's willing to take a risk. That they're willing to sacrifice their own health, well-being, and safety in order to do a greater good. But it's not everyone that has the strength to be able to do that. And I think that that's one of the things that makes Edouard so special, that even though his power is song, his power is being able to touch the innermost parts of people, also it's that his word is his bond, and if he believes in something, he's going to do it no matter what.
I have to go to France.
Then I'm coming with you. He'll be waiting when I get back. Warriors in arms, Annette. Family in hearts.
I love that line. It makes me feel so emotional, because there is something so precious when you have someone that's kind of your ride or die person, where you know no matter what, right or wrong, they will be by your side. And that's who Edouard is. It breaks my heart when Edouard shies away from Annette, seeing him in this form. He's embarrassed or ashamed of who he has become, of what has happened to him, and what is her reaction. A lot of times when you change who you are, you're worried about what those you care about will think and how they're going to react, because it matters so much to you. How realistic is it that he would still want to protect Annette? A lot of us is that limbic response, is that emotional connection that we have to people. Even when a lot of us are dealing with perhaps a cognitive decline, that love, that care is the innermost part of our brain, and it's the one that is the most protected from many different forms of dementia, Alzheimer's, cognitive decline. So I think that especially with someone that believes so strongly in what they care about, in the people that they surround themselves with, it makes sense to me that Edouard would still carry those pieces with him.
Do you understand what you are, devil? You were created to obey, and that is all you were created for.
You can see the terror in Edward's eyes of what has he become. The thing that really matters to us is who we are on the inside. And for Edward, no matter what he looks like on the outside, you can see that peaceful, kind, caring, protective soul that he really is. He may look like a demon, but truly he has the heart and soul of an angel. And you can hear that out of him when he sings. We will often judge a book by its cover, like things that are perfect, beautiful, but we didn't do anything to get that. That's just the way that we were born into, and we're so much more than those crude shells, the things that we've worked towards, the things that we care. Those are the things that make us truly shine. There's two things that are really interesting about this scene. One is that you can hear all of the other demons snarling until Edward sings. In a lot of ways, music does soothe the savage beast. Depending on the type of music, it changes our heart rate and lowers it. It reaches us in a very limbic level. Hearing a heartbeat soothes a child, and a lot of music has similar beats to that because it does reach us in a more primal way. There's something called auditory scene analysis, the cocktail effect, and that is that we can hone in on a single conversation, even in a room filled with conversations and people that are talking. So if you're attuned to something, you can keep your focus on that. There are some that are more neurodivergent that are not able to do this. This might be something that you might do, but don't feel bad if you can't.
Who were you, friend? Do you remember who you were?
I remember being out in the woods.
Can music help bring out repressed memories? It does. Because it's that more primal area of the brain. We store the feelings that we have in songs, in nursery rhymes, very close to the area where we store memories. So we end up linking those together. And we found that people with traumatic brain injuries can sometimes, even though they don't remember where they are or what they've been, be able to sing a song or remember parts of their childhood. I think that for Edward's music, though, also it's soothing. So in an area where you might feel scared and upset, and because you're feeling scared and upset and that adrenaline's rushing through your system, his soothing voice lowers your heart rate, lowers your cortisol levels, and will actually lower your levels of aggression, making you feel more relaxed and having those memories be able to come back to you. So when someone is humming to someone to make them feel calm and relaxed, doesn't work for everyone, but many people like that. It can actually lower our limbic response, and then things can come to our memory more easily and more comfortably.
And a girl who liked talking. I remember that I liked her. And I liked what she said. My name was Jacques.
A lot of times that's the way that hypnotism works. You put yourself in a really relaxed state and you try to be able to go to places that you may not have accessed because of trauma or fear.
Have courage. There is light in this darkness.
It's Edward.
And in this prison, down here in the dark, Jacques, standing guard over me, do you accept it now as your fate?
No.
I think that that's Edward's power. With his music, he allows people to be calm, relaxed, that lowers our level of cortisol, but also increases our levels of dopamine, which makes us feel safe and motivated. And we're so much easier to control when we're scared, when we're fearful, when we're angry. And a lot of different news media organizations actually try to make us feel angry and upset. So we fight among ourselves instead of being able to help each other. And so that's what Edward is doing. He's letting people feel again, feeling safe, thinking of themselves so that they can think more clearly and then make their own decisions beyond what society, and in Jacques' case, what the abbot has set out for him. Once people start thinking for themselves, then nothing can stand in their way. When music that we like or that makes us feel is played, it actually makes those mirror neurons start to fire where we feel that our emotions are being empathized with. So often when you're feeling sad or upset, especially if you can't express it, you might find it to be soothing to be able to express those emotions through song. And usually if you're feeling sad, you want to hear a sad song, not a happy one, because that feels validating. And you can see that Jacques is not sure of what he should do. He's thinking, making choices for himself. Another cool thing about music that makes us feel something that we feel akin to is that when we're feeling relaxed and calm, it's actually reparative to us. So is Edward also helping those parts of the brain that might have been cut off be actually able to be repaired so all of these different demons can make their own choices? Perhaps he's helping their brain be soothed and calmed so that they can make decisions that are against the abbot's wishes, against what they were coded for. I love the look down of Jacques where he's made that choice that I'm going to do something different. It's really exciting for me when we go against our nature, we face the things that we're scared about, we do something beyond ourselves. Because once you start to do it, it's almost like your chains have been broken, that it opens up new worlds for you, allows you to become something that you may not have even known was possible before you did it. I also like that Jacques kind of looked back to Annette like, okay, like, go ahead, like, come on, I got this. It's just such a sweet little tiny moment of a connection. And when we do that us and them, or we demonize certain people or populations, it does such a disservice. There is good and bad in all of us, but we need to be able to open up our hearts to be able to see that. And in the end, that can make such a huge difference. We need to sometimes bridge that gap.
Let's break you out of this place.
No. My work here isn't finished, Annette.
Even though Edward wants to leave, he wants to be free, he finds a higher purpose in the work that he's doing, and that he knows that that matters, that he can be able to reach people that are forgotten, that are not cared for, that don't matter. And it's so in line with who Edward is. I think that it's beautiful that he makes this sacrifice to be able to help these night creatures and also to be able to help his friends. For some people, the thing that matters the most to them is to be able to make a positive change within the world. Sometimes we don't do things because no one else is doing it. We need someone to be able to light the way so that others can follow. And Edward sees that. He has those true leadership qualities, and he's willing to be able to make the sacrifices to do a greater good.
I'm not ready to leave. When I sing, there's light in this darkness.
And that's just so beautiful, because that's what he did before. But this time he sees such a great purpose in that, because here he is giving choice to these creatures that they didn't have a choice before him, and he's making a concrete change for them.
It touches souls. But yours, your work, is down there.
For Edward, it goes back to that beginning where he could see people's souls. So he can actually see, witness the changes and those that he can reach. And so that really does magnify this power that he has. Music doesn't just deal with our reward system. It can also release oxytocin that can lower feelings of pain and make us feel more relaxed. So he really is soothing all of these creatures that have been horribly changed and altered as well. And, you know, just like a tiger with like a little tiny thorn in his paw and might be all grumpy and vicious, but once the thorn is out of their paw, they could be really sweet and cuddly. And so he might also be doing that for the creatures. Not always. Don't pet a tiger. Don't. Even if the thorn's gone, he still may eat you. But in this case, he's doing a lot of good with the night creatures. Just went on a tangent. Don't want someone to come back being like, I pet the tiger, Georgia. It hurt me.
You can't stay here.
Demons from hell don't scare me. Warriors in arms. Family in heart.
I love that when Annette was scared, Edward was there again and just comforting her. And even though she wants to keep him safe, he knows that he has a job to do. And I love that he says that line again. It just really touches my heart so much. Their relationship is so beautiful. This thought that he has transcended everything that he went through, that's what mattered. And that's what he kept with him. There's so much media coverage out there, it's hard to know where each media source leans or how these articles frame the same subject depending on their bias. And it matters what you let your brain consume. So even just knowing if something is left or right-leaning can help us be more aware and protect our unconscious bias in our own discourse. That's why I'm using our sponsor, Ground News, in order to help me research news stories so I can be a step ahead of partisan leanings, and also I can be aware of the information that I'm allowing my brain to absorb. So I chose a very Halloween-worthy, controversial subject, candy corn. I did! Is candy corn the most hated candy out there? Is it more left-leaning, the feelings on candy corn, or right? No, both left and right hate candy corn. If you love it, let me know in the comments below. You can use Ground News for the most political, interesting, controversial, or cute and fun news stories that are around. This is an app and website created by former NASA engineer who wants to give consumers a new way to read news in a data-driven manner, so you're informed about the biases around us. Each story has a visual breakdown. Who doesn't love visual breakdowns? So it's easy to see political bias, factuality, and how each side presents the same facts with their own spin on what they emphasize the most. Backed by ratings from 3 independent news monitoring organizations, so you can compare articles to see what details are left out or emphasized in which sources. It allows you to get that quick scope on how you may be being manipulated and what's the focus depending on where the story is written. Knowledge is power, so this is a wonderful way to gain skills in media literacy and the tricks and tools which are used in order to alter the manner in which we look at our facts. So it might be more comfortable for us to stay within our own little bubbles, but in the end, we should know the manner in which we're consuming media, even how each news source we consume may be altering our own political, social, and environmental ideology. So if you're interested in trying out Ground News for yourself, you can head on over to ground.news/Georgia Dow to get 30% off News Vantage Plan, which includes News Bias, which is a dashboard that shows what kind of news are you consuming. Just knowing what kind of news you read can greatly increase your awareness of your own cognitive biases and help you break out of your own dissonance. It's also a wonderful gift for those around you. If you want those around you to be a little bit more aware of what they consume and how it affects them, this would be the gift for them. So head on over to ground.news/Georgia Dow to get 30% off of news which you can count on. Clicking on that link really does help out this channel, so thank you so much, as well as clicking on subscribe or becoming a member. Thank you so much, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. These are my thoughts on Edward. You can let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.